What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Collector's Outpost. I am John. Today we're taking a look at the brand new Mara Jade lightsaber. Now this is the SN-V4 Pro. We've also taken a look at the Xeno V3 version, which I have here. They're what I like to call the same but different. Mara Jade is a very interesting character, and I feel like Disney has recently been more fiddling around with testing the waters out of Mara Jade's character. You know, they've recently released a Mara Jade Legacy or Legends lightsaber, because I guess she's, you know, a Legends character, but they released a lightsaber, and figures have come out from like Hasbro and stuff like that. So it's making me think that maybe Disney's just kind of testing the water with this character. Now we have so many outlets, like we have Ahsoka, which is interesting with Ahsoka, because I feel like, could they introduce a character into the Ahsoka series like Mara Jade, since we do have Luke in his full prime, and I guess Mara would be in that storyline somewhere if she was a canon character. Could they manipulate her story enough, change it up, that she's introduced to the Luke storyline, and maybe it kind of like branches off into the Luke Mara show? You know, they have like their own series. Like, I don't know. It's just very interesting. Disney has so many great stories that they could attack that we would so love if they do it correctly. We have Mara alone, and we have Cal Kestis. I mean, we've got the Kestis actor. That was weird. Anyway, we've got the Kestis actor out there who did the video game, so it would be great to bring him into the fold somewhere. But anyway, we're not really here to test theories about Mara Jade and different characters and stuff like that. But anyway, we do have the brand new Mara Jade SN-V4 Pro from the good folks over at... What is going on with that light back there?
I swear to God, if it's not one thing around here, it's something else. It just never ends. Please don't electrocute me.
I rearranged a few things over the last few days, and I feel like maybe I nudged the wire or whatever, and it's maybe just not sitting in right. But it's just freaking me out because I can see it on the monitors. Anyway, we have the Mara Jade lightsaber from the good folks over at Vader Sabers. Thank you guys so much for sending this on over for everybody to check out. I'll put a direct link and discount code for you down in the description to check this out and everything else that Vader Sabers has, including my own 3 lightsabers: the Duality, the Shadowfall, which is a limited edition, and the brand new Scrap Flex. Definitely check those out. I'll put the unboxing videos for those down below, along with the discount if you want to save a few bucks over at Vader Sabers. All right, so before we take a deep dive into this, if you guys are new here, thank you so much for stopping by for a lightsaber review. Please drop on down, hit the like, subscribe, and notification button for upcoming videos. I got a lot of lightsabers, literally stacks of them right behind me. I've got some trip to Toy Cons coming up, possibly a New York Comic-Con trip in October, I believe that's coming around. So you're not gonna wanna miss that stuff. And if you're a returning viewer and a friend of the channel already, thanks so much for stopping by again. And a special thank you, as always, to all my YouTube channel members. You guys really help support this channel. All right, so let's dig on in and take a closer look at this lightsaber. So of course, you do get the Mara Jade lightsaber, which if you have the LGT Nexus version, the Xeno V3 version, you may already be saying, well, that looks, which is one of my favorite sayings, it's the same but different, you know? And well, I'll show you them side by side, but I like this version a lot. Also included in here, we do have a couple of rubber rings, which I'm not really 100% sure what they're for, but I'm sure there's a reason for them. We do have a couple of replacement grip thingies here, T-tracks, USB charging cable, and we do get a really nice blade plug. Really like that thing. And that is a translucent plug, so when you turn that on, that will light up. Very nice. And you'll get an acrylic stand along with a nice Mara plaque on there. You pop that right on in the middle and it says Mara Jade. Now this is the SN-V4 Pro, so you're gonna get 2 different manuals here. They've separated their app manual along with their product manual. That way you know how to use this without the app. And in this video, we're going to be using the Hex Blade, which has 684 LEDs in it in 6 different rows. So you're gonna get a really smooth rendition of colors and animations out of this, and it's going to be a little bit brighter than the standard blades that we've been getting for years now. All right, let's take a little bit of a deeper dive here into this lightsaber and compare it to the other one that I reviewed right here, which is the LGT Xeno V3 version. Now you can see they are extremely similar, but also extremely different. Their sizes are completely different, like they're not even close. The textures of the metal are different. The LGT version, the Xeno version, is a shiny chrome, like a mirror finish over here, and this is more of a brushed aluminum feel. Now, because of, on the top of the Nexus version here, we do have that little piece of meat. I'm gonna measure from the top of this, or at least, you know, my best estimate, compared to the blade plug, which has that little piece of meat on it. There is no extra meat on here when you're just using the blade, so this is just a blade plug version. So let's see, we have from the top of that nub there, we have about 11.5 inches long on the TXQ version, and on the Nexus version, we're looking at about 10.5 inches. And it is a little bit thicker as well, coming in at, let's see, the Nexus version is coming in at 31.56 millimeters, and the TXQ version is coming in at 37.47 millimeters. So it's quite a bit thicker and it has a little bit more weight to it. Let me get you some weight on this as well. All right, so the TXQ version is weighing in at 804 grams, or 1 pound, 12.4 ounces. And the LGT version, the Nexus version, is weighing in at 1 pound, 1.3 ounces, or 491 grams. So you do have a little bit more weight on the TXQ version. Now, the cool thing about having both of these versions out here is that you have a version that if you want a Xeno, you can get a Xeno, or if you want an SNV4, you can get an SNV4 version. Also, if you are a larger person and you feel that like it should be a little bit thicker, then this is the way to go for you. But if you have smaller hands, you're a little bit shorter, you know, maybe the Xeno is the way to go for you. Now, some of the things that are different is these jewels there on the front. The reds are the same red over here, but then you have the blue, which I do think is a little bit more accurate to what Mara's lightsaber is supposed to be. And over here, you kind of had like a black tactical button rather than a jewel. We've got the same type of black button on the TXQ than over here, but obviously scaled a little bit larger. This is pretty much about the same. This is a screw. This also looks like a screw. You know, this section, the whole clamp section, very similar. 1 screw, 2 screws. Overall, I do also feel like the overall feel of the Xeno version is just a bit on the smoother edge side than the TXQ version here. Like this is not that it's sharp, it's just a little bit more sharper than here. And it could be due to the chrome coating on this. You know, it probably smoothed out any of the edges that they had. We do look like we have a couple of big screws on the back of the TXQ, which are not there on the LGT. However, they are still spots. So here you can see the 2 screws here, along with that little screw there. But instead of those big kind of Allen bolts or Allen screws here, they are Allen screws here. So, but they are in the same positions. Up over here on the Xeno, we had the retention screws, but on this one, on the TXQ, we've got this big kind of retention bolt here. So that is the retention screw on this one. And even down over here, these are almost identical. This kind of has a circular pattern in the middle. This one is flat, and one's a little bit thicker, one's a little bit thinner. They're the same, but different. Now, digging on into the SNV4 Pro here, let's dig into this chassis. We do have a removable chassis here. Bam. And I've loved these new chassis since they put these out. We have your kill switch, we have your USB charging port right over here, we have your 18650 battery. I love that they've been including these pull strips for the batteries. This is something I wish everything had as far as battery ejection, to be able to pop this right out with that pull string, because before that you had to bang them a little bit, or hope there was a little something in the back to push through, or you had to kind of try to pull them out like that, and they were just a pain in the butt. But I love the addition of this little pull string here. And over here on the back, we have the access to our SD card. Now you can flip this on. And one of the things I really like about these chassis here, I mean, the Xenos have lights and everything too, but I like the fact that they have added you know, all of those lights on the inside over here. I don't know, it just makes the chassis come to life when they have some lights inside. It almost makes them feel like kyber crystals. Now these, unlike the Xenos, they do have a different connection on the top, so they do have to be inserted in a very specific direction. You have the flat side and the circle side. So just always make sure that that lines up with the internals here. Sounds really good. That sounds really good. Now on the bottom, we do have a pommel cap that can be removed if you want. It already sounds really good like this. It kind of cuts a little bit of the high end out and still leaves a lot of the bottom end and mids kind of coming through these little sound vents on the side. But you could unscrew this a little bit if you wanted some more sound and leave the cap on the side there, and you'd open up a lot more of the audio vents right there. By opening this up, you will get a little bit more sound, a little bit more clarity. But for me, I'm fine with this, you know, just dulled down a little bit. So I would probably wind up myself, just wind up leaving this just always on there. All right, so we want to pull up the Force Park V2 app and get connected. Now, the hex blade is a 32-inch blade, so we just want to make sure that our blade is configured correctly for 32 inches. So let's get connected here.
Connected.
And let's go on into our data and just do some of our configurations here. Really, the only stuff I fiddle with much here is the ins and outs, so the speed of the blade going in and out, and the blade length. So right now we're at 130, which is usually set for a 36-inch blade. So we want to go down to, I think, somewhere around 115. Let's actually turn this on. And boom, yeah, so about 115 is perfect for this. Now, over here you can set your in and out speed globally, so it'll affect every sound font on here. Let me move this down a little bit. So this is speed 5 in and out. All right, so you can slow that down if you want. I know a lot of people, they like, you know, really slow extending blades. And back in, or you can have it out really fast or in really slow, so you really can kind of adjust this to however you want. So let's go out at a 6, and then back in, we'll go really slow. And then back on your main page here, you do have a similar thing that Xeno also has. You have all your different auditions and everything, your power on, power off. We got your different blade colors, blade effects, different sound fonts that you could switch to. So this is blade effects.
Custom blade 1.
Which I gotta say, the SNV4 Pro has really cool blade effects in there. Like, this is a cool gradient. You can see it kind of goes from purple to, when it switches over here, it's kind of like a reddish orange to a yellow. So the SNV4 definitely has an up on the Xeno as far as, like, you know, cool blade styles.
Custom blade 2. Custom blade 3. Custom blade 4. Custom blade 5, custom blade 6, custom blade 7, custom blade 8, custom blade 9, custom blade 10.
So you got your blaster deflex, lock up, flash on clash, your melt effect, force effect.
I'm going to end this once and for all.
Mace Windu over there. Stab effect, tip drag. Tip drag, the whole front kind of flickers over there. And swing, I don't know why that's in there. And then you can flip through the colors a little bit. You have different boot effects, and your volumes over here can turn that down a little bit.
670%.
So whatever works for you. Now, I also like the fact that you can kind of go in and add some blade styles. So, you know, you can go flip through a whole bunch of these here and see what they have. Now, you can also go into your local blade effects, and there's a whole bunch of ones that aren't even turned on. So you can see everything without a star are the blades that are there, but just not activated. So here's a good one right here, number 12 on this list here. It said stable with slight flicker. Play this right on the blade here, and it'll kind of preview it. It's a very slight flicker, like it said. So let's see what else they have. We have a ripple effect here. We could play that. Almost looks watery with a little bit of lightning in there, which is pretty cool. We have a wave. That's actually pretty cool. I do like that. It almost looks like it's electric. And here's a flicker blade right here, class flicker. This is probably the one I usually go to. This one here is great. I love this kind of hot white section over here that goes into the color. That one's really cool. So let's turn that one on here. All you gotta do is click mark, stable with flicker. Let's see what this is. So, all right, so this is the perfect flicker for me. So let's also mark this. Now, when you mark these are gonna go into Custom Blade 1 and Custom Blade 2. They always get pushed to the front. All right, so let's click on upload. Yes, and let's go back to our main page here. Blade effects.
Custom Blade 1.
All right, Custom Blade 1. And there's our really nice flicker, and then Custom Blade 2.
Custom Blade
will be that same flicker, but it had that hot spot, if you remember, over here, which is great. Blade lockups. Flash on clash. This lightsaber feels great to hold.
Sakura.
Nice.
Balaba. Kenobi. Kenobi.
All right, my friends, that is about it, I think. This is Amara Jade SNV4 Pro from the folks over at Vader Sabers. Thank you guys so much for sending this over for everybody to check out. I'll put direct links down below if you want to check this out and everything else that Vader Sabers has. Drop on down below. Let me know what you think of the new Mara Jade lightsaber down in the comments. And don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and click that notification button for upcoming videos. I have a lot of lightsabers to come, some trip to Toy Cons and possibly New York Comic Con. And as always, a very special thank you to my YouTube channel members. You guys really help with supporting this channel and keep it going. Thank you guys so much. It's very appreciated. All right, I will see you all on the next video, my friends. Be safe and kind out there in the world. See ya.